Hey guys, welcome back to another video. City have just beat Sevilla 3-1 in the final group game of the Champions League. And it was a really fun night of football. It genuinely was. A lot to enjoy about that. Of course, it was a game with absolutely loads of changes, which is always going to happen given the state of the group and given the state of the fixture schedule. But it didn't mean that the game was going to be a boring affair. The first 45 minutes did have us going for a second or two. It was a little bit dull, that first 45. But after that, there was loads of wonderful, beautiful stories that made the game incredibly memorable for me personally. I'm being a little bit muted because I've got a sleeping baby and a sleeping wife downstairs trying to get some rest. Hence why there's no live video as well. Just keep it nice and short, I reckon. But I will be talking about my thoughts throughout the game. If you are new to the channel, don't forget, please hit the like button. Please do also subscribe to this channel if you want some more good old honest Manchester City takes. And hopefully the videos will be back in full flow very soon. Just still adapting to parenthood. Still very tired. But that is life. But that performance tonight did wake me up. Other than the first 45. Of course, the top story here is, of course, Rico Lewis. I mean, I would have screamed the house down if I didn't have a sleeping baby next to me, a future academy prospect of my own. I was absolutely delighted for him, genuinely buzzing for Rico Lewis. I mean, this is a young lad from Bury, from Radcliffe in particular. I live in Bury right now, actually, Ramsbottom, which is part of Bury. So this is a young lad from the neck of the woods that I'm in. And I was delighted to see yet another Manchester City fan not only get on the pitch, start at 17 years old in Champions League, but also score and also be absolutely deserving of the praise that he got today. There's a tendency every now and then when you're watching a young academy player to get excited because they do one thing very well and get giddy. And I've been guilty of that many times. Sometimes you need to step back and look at the bigger picture and the whole performance. And this wasn't just a performance to get excited about because he scored. This was a performance to get excited about because it was excellent, genuinely excellent. Even if he hadn't scored tonight, it still would have been a fantastic fullback performance from a guy far too young, a guy not even old enough to drink yet. This is how young Rico Lewis is. It's probably a good bet that he didn't win the man of the match for UEFA, though he should have, because he wouldn't have been able to drink it anyway. But either way, he was absolutely excellent. I mean, this is a performance of maturity, an accomplished performance, one where you can see absolutely why Pep Guardiola trusts him. And what I really liked about the performance wasn't just the accomplishment, it wasn't the maturity, it was the versatility as well. He was equally adept at doing that classic inverted Pep Guardiola fullback where he stands there and he receives the ball from the centre-backs and he dictates play from deep and keeps it moving, keeps it simple but keeps it consistent and helps block counter-attacks. That inverted fullback role that Guardiola really made famous over the past few years, he was great at that, which isn't his natural game, by the way, but he was great at doing that. But then when we saw him play as a more traditional attacking fullback, it was equally as excellent. Of course, scoring a lovely goal, a great assist from Alvarez, but the way he lifted into the roof of the net, well, I've actually seen him do that before for the EDS as well, almost identical last season. A lovely finish. And there's a couple of times as well where he burst forward and did a step over and beat his man. It was an all-round full-up performance. It was genuinely fantastic. And once again, this is another young lad who was a Manchester City fan. You can pretend that doesn't mean something, but it does. It just does. A guy who grew up 15 minutes at most away from the ground, who absolutely cares about this club, who comes through the academy and gets what it means to be a lifelong Manchester City fan. This guy, if you cut him in half, would bleed blue blood. He absolutely has Manchester City down to his very core, and that makes a difference. It does make a difference because look at his celebration. Look at him walking around, receiving a standing ovation as the fans chanted, "Rico, Rico." He was close to tears, if not in tears, man. He absolutely loved it, and I'm fucking delighted for him. I'm delighted for him, one, because he is great for the academy. It shows that he's got, he showed that he's got the quality to be involved, but it's great because he's also meant to be an absolutely lovely lad. From everything I know about him, he's wonderful, and I'm buzzing for him. Ruben Diaz was talking about him as well, by the way. I'm just getting the quotes up. Ruben said, not my Ruben, Ruben Diaz said, he's an enormous talent. He's been with us a long time now. I think for him to have the opportunity to play and to score, you can see his quality. Brilliant things from him, and he just needs to keep working. Indeed, Ruben. Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that is a future superstar, and he's ours. And could he be the backup to Kyle Walker now? Absolutely. I said on Twitter, and not as a derogatory thing, the only possible doubt you'd have about him was maybe his height. He's on the short side. He's about 5'5", 5'6". Probably the shortest player in our squad, and still a little bit shorter than some of our short asses in Foden and Bernardo. But that doesn't always matter, you know, as people have pointed out to me on Twitter. Many a great fullback has been pretty short. It's true. But that was the only thing I could think about him. He's not lightning quick, but he's not slow. Technically, he's excellent. He's got the heart of a lion. He's great. He's very good defensively in terms of switched on. So he's got everything to his game. And of course, it wasn't just him. It was also a great night, in my opinion, for Julian Alvarez. I think it's been a weird month for Julian Alvarez. Probably, exacerbated by circumstances often out of his own control. He's been getting onto games, getting on the pitch where he's gone scrappy and disjointed due to many substitutions. So he's coming into a team often where the team's already in calm down mode, when it's just kind of going through the motions. Or he's played in games like the Leicester game when it was just the team around him didn't play well, or there were so many defenders up in front of him that he couldn't really get into the game. And it could have been potentially one of those slow descents into a lack of confidence, and I was worried about that. I'm not going to lie. I'd already seen a few City fans overreacting, in my personal opinion, but that's the internet, suggesting that maybe he doesn't have the quality to play for Manchester City. I mean, memories are short. We're already forgetting some of you are forgetting just how good he was as a fly driving around, by the way, buzzing around. It's probably Alvarez. People are already forgetting just how good he was in the first couple of months, and this was a timely reminder of his quality. He could have once again lost his form, but tonight he was excellent. I mean, the quality of his finish initially, we'll talk about that. That extra touch just to knock it past the keeper, then put it in with his weaker foot into the top corner. It's an Aguero finish. It's wonderful. Obviously, an immensely brilliant through ball from Kevin De Bruyne, but it wasn't just that finish, which was once again such a high quality that I don't think Jesus still would have scored that, by the way. That's the comparison for last year. I don't think they would have. But a high quality finish. But it wasn't just that. It was his pressing. It was his work rate. His pressing, of course, which led to the game-killing third goal for Mahrez when he won the ball high up the pitch and played a nice simple pass. Mahrez put it in the top corner. Of course, as well, a lovely kind of like reverse through ball to Rico Lewis, who scored the opener. So 2 assists and 1 goal and an effortless, effervescent performance from Julian Alvarez. Much needed, and a reminder of his quality. A great night for him. Elsewhere across the pitch, I know Mahrez scored, but his form isn't good, man. And Pep looked raging with him all night. Like, he does need to find his form again, because at the moment he just looks like he's going through the motions. And given what we're paying for him and given his quality, he looks like a very average squad player right now, and we need him to be better than that. Fingers crossed he will be. Elsewhere, Gomez didn't really massively get into the game. There was some question marks about his involvement with the goal. It looked like zonal marking to me, but I think it's fair to say he didn't massively get into the game, so we'll worry about that another time. Cole Palmer didn't really have his best game as a number 10. I still think he's better out wide as a right winger. Maybe he would be better as a number 10 if he fed in the ball a little bit more, but it wasn't really his night. Didn't do anything wrong, but it wasn't really his night. That's absolutely fine, of course. Bernardo, energetic and as excellent as ever. Phil Foden, a lively little camp, like a half, didn't offer loads, but he had a nice turn or two here and there. I thought Jack was actually getting into the game when he came off, which is a bit of a shame. What else? The goal, Ortega had nothing to do with that. Ortega looked good, by the way. He looked solid. He looked fine. I also really like the cameo from Wilson Esbrand. It was a nice little cameo, nothing special, but he showed that he's got a lot of pace and a lot of quality. Though Guardiola once again was also moaning about him for being out of position, which is what it is. Guardiola was talked about Grealish, by the way. He said Jack was the best player in the first half and more direct, but he played a really tough game in the last game. We need him for the next game. So Guardiola took him off for that reason, just because he needs to rest him. But he said he was good, and I actually agree. I thought he was really good. KDB, by the way, that KDB pass. Absolutely stupid, wasn't it? I'm just trying to find the plays that we can get. So here are the ones that we can get in the last 16. We can get Inter Milan, Club Brugge, Frankfurt, RB Leipzig, and then this is where it gets interesting. AC Milan or PSG. Obviously, I mean, you don't really want to get AC Milan or PSG or Inter Milan, maybe. Bruges, Frankfurt, Leipzig. I mean, I would fancy your chances against all of them for various reasons, but there's a couple of tricky ties there and a couple of easy ones and a couple of mid ones, but they are the options. I think the draw is it on Monday? I don't know when it's going to be, but either way, we'll have to see where it goes. I mean, I don't want PSG or Milan. We could beat them, either Milan. But, we'll have to see who we come up against there. But either way, that was a good night's football from Manchester City. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about it. It was nice to see some of the young players get on. It was nice to see City show the quality that they've got. And nice to see some nice little stories, man. Like, sometimes these stories do matter. And academy players getting on and getting involved, it does matter. It does. People can pretend that it doesn't, but it absolutely means something for the story and the soul of this club. And I love nights like tonight. Of course, seeing Alvarez like Aguero, I will take that always. But guys, thank you for watching this video. Do let me know down in the comments what you made of the game. Thank you to the Patreons. Thank you to all of you for watching. And I promise you, at some point soon, when me and Nicola have adapted to parenthood, the schedule of videos will be back to normal. But it is tiring. It's harder than people tell me to be. Honestly, it's everyone goes, oh, but parent is difficult. And I thought it wouldn't be that difficult, but it is. It's worse. It's absolutely worse. I'm fucking exhausted. Back to normal soon. Love you all loads. Up the Blues. City 3-1. Rico is superstar. Alvarez isn't bad too. In a bit.